All right. Seven, 6, 5. This is how they make it. 3, 2. Hey. All right. Welcome to the Mexican Soccer Show. I'm Wiso and Cesar alongside Mr. Cesar Hernandez, Cesar Football, who, by the way, got a haircut. I got a haircut. It's a whole new different Mexican soccer show. You know, that's what happens. ¿Cómo estás, Cesar?
Dude, good. It's actually kind of funny. I saw like that you got a haircut like around. I think we like mentioned it on Twitter like the same week that I got a haircut, which was funny because we both let our hair grow out for like a year.
Exactly.
We did together around the same. Did we? I was making a joke. Did we go to the same barber? I have no idea.
Now we look exactly the same, man. Look, you guys look like new people.
Yeah.
Looking fresh. Here we go. As we have a lot to cover today. So first of all, I want to thank everybody that's on. This show's definitely gonna be about not only analyzing the game, but also about you guys. No more of the Wiso Pizarro, dude. He got cut from the national team, so I couldn't keep up. It was a bad look for me anymore. So
one player got cut, so then you cut your hair is what happened, right?
That's just how it is, right? Yeah. We're going to be talking all about the Nations League final yesterday. Ask us your questions. We're going to be reading through the comments on Twitter. So it's going to be great. Saying hi already to the Eagle Eye podcast, nuestros amigos, Christian Rosendo. Yeah, so we'll be checking in on the comments on here and putting you on there. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. It's just Cesar and I. No Amy, no Adriana.
Just feelings and vibes, right? Like I feel like I don't know how you prep for this week, but I decided I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna be looking at like I've already gone through all the stats. I've already gone through all the quotes, all the highlights, and like Amy mentioned in the chat, she's like, "Do you guys just want a rundown, or are you just going off feelings and vibes?" And yeah, man, I'm just going off feelings and vibes today.
Yes,
we'll see what the fans have to ask. We'll see how they're feeling about the game, but yeah, it was a interesting match yesterday between Mexico and the United States.
Let's jump right in. First and foremost, we're gonna say something. This is gonna be out here. We haven't lost to the U.S. like this in a very long time. I think we have a reason why. Mr. Tom Marshall not covering the national team.
That's what it is.
I messaged him right after the loss. I said, I hate you. The minute you left, it all went downhill. So Tom Marshall, we blame you. I think he's in England right now, actually, with his family. Right there. Mig says he's missing
Don Tom,
so, yeah. So
that's what it is. All right. So it was Tom's fault.
That's what happened. That's what happens. All right. 3-2, a crazy night last night. A night to remember. If you're a U.S. fan, I'm sure you're just gleaming. I'm sure you're just so happy the fact that you're able to beat your biggest rival in a final since, I guess, 2007. That was the last Gold Cup final. The last time the U.S. beat Mexico, I think it was a qualifier in 2013 back in Columbus. Not a lot of games. I think there was a friendly here and there, but the U.S. finally got a win. So let's jump right in. Just your overall thoughts. We'll go into our top 3 players. Who do we not want on the national team anymore? How did Tata do? I mean, we're just going to go right to it and also obviously read all of your questions right now. So, Cesar, overall thoughts. How you feeling? Are you mad? Are you angry? You want to throw the towel? Bye-bye, Tata.
I mean, I feel a couple different ways because I was forgot who I was chatting with about this before the game started. And I was saying that, for me, there are 3 big things for Mexico this summer. Like, number 1, it's the Olympics. Number 2 is a Gold Cup, and this was number 3. And I don't want to obviously belittle the Nations League competition because, as I mentioned on Twitter, this is really important for FIFA rankings. I know a lot of Mexico fans are going to make themselves feel better by saying, "Oh, it's just a made up tournament."
So everybody keeps saying Mickey Mouse Cup made up.
Yeah, but the thing is, this game was still really important for FIFA rankings.
Yes.
So because of that hurts me a little bit. But at the same time, I wasn't as bummed out as I thought it would be because the game could have easily have gone the other way. It could have easily gone to Mexico's favor. They were almost up 2-0 within the first half. What would have happened if Guardado scored that penalty? I think the U.S. men's national team, they 100% deserving to get this win, and I'm sure it felt just as good as it felt for us when Mexico won, let's say, the CONCACAF Cup. I think that's probably the closest.
That was the Confederation, playoff. I mean but this was still. People are asking, what is this all about? What's the purpose of this Nations League? And you said it, right? Jonathan, really quick, my CL Penny said, I can't quite explain why, but this is the least upset I've been after an LT lost to US National Team. It's true. Even in the friendlies, it's just kind of like, okay, it happened. You're always mad. You don't want to lose to your rivals. In fact, more times since 2000, we've lost the United States way more times. I think it's the 15th time we lost. Take official games out of there, and it's not as many, but there's friendlies. So, but somebody's asking, what's the purpose of this Nations League? The Nations League is just a tournament that has started. I think it's in every confederation, right? They have a Nations League. There's a winner. I think they're trying to do some type of Confederations Cup, like mirror to that, but it's going to come. I think the winners of the Nations League are going to play sometime. That's what I hear. But these are official games. And just like Cesar said, it hurt us on the rankings. These are worth twice as much as regular friendly games when it comes to the rankings. And if you don't know, the rankings are important if we want to be the top of a group. If we want to, the odds of going to the quinto partido are a lot, they favor the people that are in their own group because you don't get to go against a number one on the second round. So they're very, very important. But yeah, you keep hearing it, Mickey Mouse Trophy. And of course, Pulisic sucks, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, Wiso, like I think it, and as you mentioned from that one fan, this feels a little bit different because I think if this was the Gold Cup, I think if this is World Cup qualifying, it feel a little bit different. But I feel a little, I don't know, I don't want to say optimistic, but I don't know. I thought Tecatito had a great game. Yeah. I thought Diego Lainez had a great game. I thought Chucky had a great game. Like it's easy for me to find some silver linings here. I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. People are saying Olympics or the World Cup for U23s. The Olympics are fun. I mean, we win the Olympics. That's the biggest accomplishment, I think. I know a lot of people are saying that, are the Olympics really that important? I never found it a big deal. It's a big deal. Brazil hadn't won one, and you want to win one, and we can say that we've been there. So we'll see how that goes in the development, right? So, all right, let's talk about, the actual game. What happened? Now, Mexico scored 1 minute, 1 minute in. I'm sitting in the press box. I'm like, oh, my gosh. There we go. Starting off 1 minute. Yeah. A great Tecatito. You just see, just like you said, one of the best players on the field. He wasn't 100%. That's what happened, right? So if you're going to grade him, he wasn't ready for the match, but what he did give us was magnificent. He was running circles all over the U.S. men's defense. Obviously, he scored the game. Then the 2-0 came in with Moreno. I still think he was not offsides. I think I saw a picture. I saw a picture of, and maybe somebody could tweet at me, but this morning, right before I got in the plane, I saw a picture of an angle where the U.S. men's national team player had a foot in and he was about to in. But let's just say he is, right?
I think it was off. I think it was off, but yeah.
2-0 up. That's it. It could have been 4-0 if it stayed that way. Just the momentum of the game. So obviously everybody see what happened. A minute in, Reina, who I think was the best player for the men's national team. That's who we really need to worry about. Pulisic, I not so much, right? Then the half, Diego Lainez comes in, totally changes the game, scores in, 1 minute in, right? The U.S. scores again. And now we're at 2-2. Obviously, you saw the penalty that I thought was non-existent for Pulisic. Then we miss a penalty, and ultimately the U.S. won. I feel like in this match, everything that went perfectly not perfectly, but at least for the U.S. Like all those lucky things that happen when there's VAR, but it's still a win, right?
Yeah, no, of course. And we can't deny that Mexico has had those moments in the past. I mean, we've got to recognize that. We don't have to look too far in the past to look at some Gold Cups where Mexico have scraped by with those calls that have benefited them in the end. But I think in the end, though, I don't know. I think the U.S. men's national, they're deserving winners here. I think for the penalties, I thought both. Let's just say both were contentious. Both were. I'm still not sure about either hand? One for I don't know. I just
see the ball hit the hand and it actually moves his hand. Maybe because
I don't know. All I'm saying is I'm still not sure if either penalty was a deserving one for Mexico or for the U.S. men's national team. But also, I mean, either way, what I think one of my takeaways, and I'm writing something on it right now, is that regardless of the result, I thought that this was a fantastic game. I think. Can you imagine if
fantastic? How the refs totally took it out.
But it was fun. Come on. Okay. Here's if Mexico won, if Guardado if Guardado scored the penalty, and if it went to the a penalty shootout, Mexico won, we'd be like, that was an instant classic. That was incredible.
It would have been. We would have been
talking.
disappointed. We would have been also disappointed the fact that we actually went to penalty kicks and beating.
We'd be hyping it.
Is it exciting? Sure, right. But we don't want to be in this situation. It should have been 2-0. It should have been 3-0. People are kind of asking. All right, let's talk about starting 11. Everyone, I think for you, what were the worst players on the field?
For
Mexico.
For me, it was both their defenses, both Mexico and the United States.
Forget U.S., just Mexico.
Just Mexico. Yeah, it's definitely the defenders. I'm looking at some of the ratings that I put out from yesterday. I thought Moreno had some good passes. He obviously scored that goal that was called offside, but man, he looked a little slow out there. And I think that there's some pacey counters from the U.S. that were able to sneak past Moreno. Araujo, I know he looked a little inconsistent. There are a couple moments where he, lunged in a little too much, and it gave some opportunity for this men's national team. I think Shaka and Gallardo, I don't know. I'm still unconvinced by them. But for me, I'm not worried about Mexico's attack. I thought Mexico's attack was perfectly fine. I know people were saying if Chicharito was there, we would have won. If Raul Jimenez was healthy, we would have won. I'm not worried about that. It was the defense. It was definitely the defense. I don't know how you felt. Because you were actually there at the game. You got a different perspective. But for me, it was Mexico's defense that I was really worried about.
The only way that obviously I'm mad at the defense because of just the mistakes during these two corners. Right. The only way the U.S. scored was 2 corners, 1 made a penalty. And that's the game. I didn't really see this, these offense that everyone keeps talking about. These guys, they couldn't even play out the back. I thought that Mexico was just bad on set pieces. Sure, there's some talent that the U.S. has, but it wasn't like it was a horrible defensive game for Mexico. Everyone's going off on Chaka. Chaka does great on, he stopped Pulisic. I don't think he had a horrible game like everybody's saying. But at the same time, I don't think Pulisic had a great game. That could have been because of Chaka. Chaka could give you the good performance, or I know that the second goal was his mistake, but to me, Antuna still has a lot to we see what he does in Chivas. I know Tata Martino likes him. Yeah, but I don't know. Everyone was asking for Linus to come in, and Linus came in and just changed the game. Trying to see that.
Yeah, I agree on that, because I think that Lainez was the difference maker. And I was a little confused why Lainez wasn't in the starting 11, because we've seen how well he's been playing recently. And I think that this is the best that Lainez has looked for Mexico since he's suited up for them. And he was incredible. Lainez was this close to being the man of the match. Lainez was so incredibly close to potentially be, I don't know, just the game changer for Mexico. And that could have potentially lifted it sounds weird to say, to lift the Nations League trophy. The Nations League trophy.
The best Nations League ever. All right. So when we talk about going forward, the positives for me, obviously, Tecatito, Chucky, and Linus, I want to see them start the game. I want to see them at 100%. I thought the best player on the field was Chucky by far. Yeah, I got a chance to watch Chucky play out of his position in this. Everyone keeps saying this is kind of false 9, almost a 9, because he was trying to do what Raul Jimenez usually does, right? And his runs, his vision, he amazes me at times, because I'm surprised again to see how much this player has grown. So I have to say, for me, even though he didn't score and I was calling for him to score, still the best player. Like we said, Tecatito got tired. He's not 100%. Linus came in, changed the game. I thought Hector Herrera had a great game. I thought he was one of his best game. It looks like these last 2 games he's taken the midfield and is trying to do something with it. Who else that kind of stood out on me out there? I thought Araujo, although he was slow at times, going forward he's okay.
Yeah. Him and Moreno. I will say they're good at their distribution. Moreno has some really good long passes. I think Araujo. I wouldn't be surprised. I just looked at the stats. I wouldn't be surprised if he was a player who connected the most passes from anyone on the field. I wouldn't be surprised if he was the one who did that. But yeah, no, I think Herrera is a good shout. No, I think he definitely had a good game, and like once again, this is why I don't know. I don't feel worried about Mexico. I don't feel too.
Uh,
I don't. Yeah.
I don't
I
feel
don't know.
worried about them facing the U.S. I'm a little worried. The World Cup starts this summer. I'm really worried. So I'm worried. Ochoa had some nice saves too. Yes, but I thought in that second goal, I thought maybe it was a little bit of a fault, kind of playing a little bit too inside and then having that drop off. But Ochoa,
I mean, but a couple of those saves he had were incredible, though.
Oh,
It's
of
like,
course. But that's
like,
Ochoa.
like
Ochoa's
that was like
great saves.
it felt like Ochoa at the World Cup. You're like, well, like didn't that like Ochoa versus like Brazil? Like that's what it kind of felt like when I saw some of those
And you
saves.
still didn't give him a 10, by the way. I'm going to give you that.
Yeah.
By the way, very important. ¿Tienen novias? Ciao. See what happens when we cut our hair and we actually look presentable. Continuing with the talk, who I was really disappointed is Charlie Rodriguez, who we've been raving about last year before the pandemic. Just not up to par. It feels like, him and Gallardo kind of got, oh yeah, they were doing great. And also Gallardo, in the first half, I was like, what's happening with him too?
Yeah.
So lackluster performances from other players that we thought maybe a year ago were going to be our bigger stars. I'm really kind of worried about Charlie Rodriguez and see what he's going to do next. Then we had some players that, we knew were going to perform, like Chucky, Diego. And so it was a very irregular Mexico. And that is why I think the U.S. was able to beat us. Because if you look at the U.S., I didn't think they did that great. In fact, that was a pretty bad game they played.
Yeah,
right?
To be honest, like I wasn't impressed by how they played. I was impressed more by their grit, their I don't know. Is it fair to say I was impressed by their efforts and their drive, but I wasn't really impressed by their tactics or a lot of their individual performances? Because that's how I felt.
They couldn't even play out the back. I mean, you're a U.S. fan watching the first half of, I don't know what they were doing with goal kicks. And then they try to play out the back. The pressure, Tata knows how to pressure that team. They got a lot to work with, but they squeeze. I said in my post game, I said, you know what, these rivalries, if you're in any type of sports, the rivalries, no matter who's playing better, the underdog could win. I'm a little also worried with Mexico in the way that all of a sudden we score and we're just kind of in las nubes, and U.S. scores once. We scored again. It looks like the game's going to be over. There's only 10 minutes left, and the U.S. scores again. Though that's what's going to be important to going forward. The psychology of the game changed. As soon as we scored, we should have that momentum to go forward. And what happened? The U.S. scored right away. That's scary, right? Because we always had these mental, kind of getting scared in the 2000s about, once the U.S. scored, there's no way we can beat them when they park the bus. That can start happening again. But this one has turned. It was the other way around. We scored, they scored, we scored, they scored, and then they scored, which hasn't happened in a very long time.
I know, and I think you could also make the argument that a game like this, like another silver lining, is it's a little bit of a wake-up call for Mexico. And I think that it's good because honestly, like I'd rather have them stumble in this Nations League than stumble in the Gold Cup. I think I'd rather have Mexico find success in the Gold Cup. And I think that this is maybe let's even look forward to World Cup qualifying. Like this is good for Mexico to realize that once again that they can still have, even though they're still the giants of the CONCACAF region for now, they still have some serious competition with the U.S. men's national team. And it wouldn't be surprising if at some point in the near future, if the U.S. were to truly surpass Mexico. I'm not saying it's happened yet. I'm just saying that there's potential there. There's potential. I'm saying but you saw it last night. I mean, they have some good young talent. Their starting 11, their average age was younger than that of Mexico's. Even though Mexico does have good young talent too, I don't know. It wouldn't. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there's a potential there for the U.S. to surpass Mexico. So I think that this is good for Mexico to kind of, get like shaken up a bit, to kind of realize that, okay, like they got to take, the U.S. men's national team seriously. They got to take also, as we saw, I mean, we saw in the semi, Mexico narrowly sneaked into the final after going through on penalties. They can't take some of these CONCACAF opponents lightly. So I think if there's something that might be good from this tournament, even though Mexico didn't win it, is that hopefully this can kind of help motivate Mexico going forward and take their opposition a little bit more seriously, and I don't know, maybe just not overlook some of these teams that they're playing.
For sure, for sure. We can all agree the Nations League is smaller than the Gold Cup, right? Yep.
I think
Unless
so. Yeah.
the Nations League, they all play, and it's kind of like a bigger Confed Cup. Then this is always going to be one of those tournaments where like, okay, we're going, but it's still, again, it's part of the points. The United States was fast sometimes. Seemed like Mexico was chasing after the U.S. I don't know. I saw it the other way around. I saw that the U.S. couldn't make any passes, and then Mexico was again. It's those two goals, Hector Moreno, which I think Sergio Tristan also said that he saw Moreno on side. I think that goes in 2-0, could have been 3, could have been 4-0, could have been a completely different game. As far as starting 11, Tata likes to have Antuna. And as much as we all kind of want Antuna, he does sometimes the job. I thought it was smart that he was on there because they knew the space that the U.S. was going to give Mexico. And a player like Antuna, you've seen it before. He can take the ball, just cannot pass. But at the same time, that Antuna's got like 8 goals or 9 goals in open wide spaces, right?
Yeah, and I think it was also difficult for him to kind of, shine a little bit when you had such a good game from Tecatito, when you had such a good game from Chucky. It kind of meant that Antuna, in order to steal the spotlight, had to be a step above them or at the same level as them. And I don't think that Antuna is at that level of a kind of a player. I think he gets a lot of hate. I didn't completely dislike him. I would prefer him as kind of like an impact sub off the bench.
When you have Diego Lainez waiting to go in, everyone's going to hate on him.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what happens. Everyone's like, "Can we put Diego Lainez in? Can we put Diego Lainez in?" And then he's changed the game. Now we really yeah. Joan Avalo says, "I think it should be a wake up for the federation and continue to improve Liga MX and find a way to raise the level of soccer played there, and of course send more players abroad. Of course, we all want more players abroad, and our very, very biggest fan says, I dreamt of winning Nations League since I was a younger girl. Deeply disappointed. Also, it's scary how much you guys look alike again. Okay, light screen. Good job. Good. How'd it go? Thanks for the producer. How much we look alike. So this is, two bearded guys, we think.
I'm glad that you decided to go with a black shirt as well.
Yeah, I know. Today. I should come in like this. Look, we look exactly alike. Like we can be like. All right.
It's just where my mic's at.
Chivas del Norte saying, dejen a nuestro Antuna en paz.
Yeah, I didn't really like hate Antuna. I think he had
good against Haiti and Barbados. Ouch.
No, I thought Antuna had some decent moments. It's just tough for him to shine in a game when Chucky and Tecatito is right there,
Who wore it better?
I know Wiso's got the better camera and the better lighting. I don't know. I gotta upgrade.
You got the trophy in the back. Right?
Unfortunately, it's not 2 trophies.
Mick saying Antuna gives me Jurgen damn vibes. All right, how long have you been in the national team fan? There's always a player like Antuna in every generation. Let's go back. You got Antuna. You got them, right? Chucky was supposed to be that player, but he excelled. Right.
Yeah.
If I go back to when we started paying attention more, you guys remember Venado, Medina. You always had those players that they just dribble, and then what happens? So yeah. That's what he said. Amy's yelling at CDN, so we'll see with him. Tuna had some nice plays on the wing. I thought he did. It wasn't bad, but again, when you have Diego Lainez coming in, it's like we're all kind of wanting to be.
And as I mentioned, like I said, I don't think Antuna was a problem. I didn't watch this game and think Antuna was a problem. I didn't watch this game and think the attack was a problem. I had my issues were, and I mean, you brought it up, like it was Charlie Rodriguez. I think he's promising. He has a lot of potential, but I think a lot of Monterrey fans are well aware that he's a little inconsistent, and he doesn't seem to be the same level of the player who was making things difficult for Liverpool in the Club World Cup. And it seems like it's been a little bit of a drop off since then. So I was more worried about Charlie. I was more worried about, and like as I mentioned, the back line. I don't know. I'm still not sure who the 2 starting central defenders should be for Mexico. I think Arteaga. I know it's only been a short window of time, but I've been really impressed with what he's done at left back for Mexico.
Me too.
Yeah, and I think there needs to be someone who already surpasses Xhaka already at right back. But the issue is that there's so much.
There's nobody at right back either. Who are going to have a right back?
Well, the issue there are options, but the thing is just like I can't confidently say that I would start them over Shaka. I don't know about if I would really confidently start Jorge Sanchez or Hermoso or Loroña, or there was just there was like the few options are just like, I don't know. I feel like more often than not, Shaka is gonna have a better performance. But he was underwhelming yesterday too. So like I said, for me, it was it was the back line. It was someone like Charlie Rodriguez in the midfield, and then the game could have easily gone the other way, but no, but the U.S. men's national team won it in the end. But at the but we saw. I mean, I brought it up. You were just like, no, it wasn't that great. You didn't enjoy it. I thought it was fun. It hurt me. It hurt me to see Mexico lose.
I enjoy it.
It was a great game.
No, it was not a great. I don't know. I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed the CONCACAF's like cup. That I enjoyed
because I think I don't know. I
mean, have I enjoyed games that we've lost? Yeah. There's games that you lost, but I think the enjoyment because you're frustrated the fact that Piti, the ref has been horrible in CONCACAF for a very long time. Every Central American and I think in Mexico, like we know that this ref, and you don't want to blame the refs. We know the refs in CONCACAF, but then VAR. The question
blaming the refs.
I'm not blaming the refs. I'm just saying I didn't enjoy it because it wasn't like a match where the U.S. brought their best and was playing really good and they scored. At least in the 2000s, like you saw Donovan, Bradley, you saw Dempsey, you saw you're like, this is a good team. We can still beat this team. And on the other side, you had it's that 4-2 with Gio's golazo. Like we were down 2-0, right? And you're just like, I mean, those were good games. The U.S. got lucky. Granted, they did everything they had to do, right? Pulisic scoring off a PK and pretending, that he just won the World Cup to steal everybody in the corner. I mean, that guy wanted to scream that goal so hard that he went to the Mexico section and shushed everybody. And then you saw the horrible display from the fans. And we're gonna have a whole section about talking about that, but whatever. And then
should we bring that up too? Just like about the fan. That was. I mean, I think that was. I think it's important to bring it up. I mean, it's important to bring it up. It sucks. It sucks. I think we all know that most Mexico fans were probably behaving themselves. I think these are pockets of fans who, unfortunately, not only like threw stuff on the field, but also we did
everybody. Our players are getting like. Did you see Henry Martin gets just hit with a beer? It's just.
And I'm glad. I'm very at the least. I think we can confidently say there were people who like tweeted out that it seems like most Mexico fans behave themselves. So, and especially since also. I know people were just like, oh, the goalkeeper chant is back, and it was back, and it's really, really, really unfortunate, and it's something that we eventually need to get over. But I also thought that it was like, I don't want to say it's a win or a step forward, but it wasn't as loud as it used to be. Yeah, and you were there. You were there.
I couldn't hear it from the press box. I couldn't hear it. I talked to a U.S. fan. I talked to somebody in the AO supporter section. I talked to somebody in the middle of the field. I talked to somebody in PVA. I talked everywhere, and it was like, I heard it in little pockets, but nowhere near what happened in Dallas, right? But everyone's talking about the fans with throwing the things on the field. And you've seen my Twitter. I hate the fact that everyone goes, oh, Mexico fans. It happens everywhere. The NBA. And I'm not saying just because it happens everywhere, we shouldn't excuse it. No, for sure.
Yeah,
if there's video out there, post it. If there's somebody throwing, let's not have him at the game. This is what happens.
Call him out too.
At the same time, who's going over to the Mexico supporter section and shushing him and taunting him? Sure, he could do that, whatever. But that's not smart, Yeah. It's like he got a yellow for taking off his shirt, and more power to him, whatever.
But in the end, I mean, but if we're going back to the game itself, like I think I know there have been lots of Mexico wins in finals in the Gold Cup and, let's say World Cup qualifying that hasn't been pretty, but Mexico still got the job done. Because I don't think, I mean, winning these championship games, it's not about playing pretty soccer. It's just about
winning.
It's just about getting the job done. And and down the line, people aren't going to say it's like, oh, U.S. men's national team won, but it wasn't pretty. Like no one's gonna be saying that.
No.
What they're gonna say is like they won. But yeah.
Regardless of what happens, U.S. fans, you did it. Congratulations. I didn't think they were gonna win. Right. So there you go. Right now you have the upper hand. Get ready for a Gold Cup. Let's see what happens. And congratulations. Like that's what's good about the rivalry, right? Like if it was so one-sided, and it has been since 2013, since 2011, since 2007. Remember the 2009 5-0 or 5-1 win in the Gold Cup? Like, we've been kicking their butts for a long time. And now they've come back. Finally, Pulisic, finally their team. Reina, I think, again, is a great player. Look what the keeper, I mean, just totally
Horvath, I mean, you had Zach Steffen injured, and then you had Horvath step in. Actually, that was
applaud him.
Actually,
applaud what he just did. Like
that was surprising to me. I was like, there's like a lot of love for Pulisic because he's a big star. You know, he won the Champions League, but I don't know, like, why isn't there more love for Ethan Horvath? I thought that
Horvath, for me, that was
incredible.
Coming in, saved the game, and let's talk about let's talk about the PK.
Oh no!
Oh man, because people are saying
all right.
Maybe, yeah. No, let's talk about that Guardado PK. After Pulisic scores, I go, we're gonna score. Like, something's gonna happen. I was 100% sure Chucky was gonna get his goal. Right, we get that. We get that. The PK call right off the bat. There's no one that should have taken that PK. It had to have been Guardado. You saw what he did at the Gold Cup 2 years ago. Guardado takes it for Real Betis. He is a captain. The guy, you know, he's shown time and time again. I think one time, was it 2015? No, 2015 when there was a PK, they called it again. He made it, and then the keeper was up. He did it again. He made it again. Like, the guy takes PK. Yeah. He's a great. When he went up there, usually it's a bad idea, right? A player that's coming into the game, you know, hasn't played and then takes a PK, but it happens. Like, everybody loses, you know, misses a PK here and there. I don't think anybody should be faulting Guardado that he shouldn't have taken the PK. Who else would have taken it? You know, I know Orbelina had a great PK one, but on the field there, I don't necessarily think anybody else should have taken it. So it happens. He's still one of the best players in the, top 10 in my book. He's going to break, I think, Claudio Suarez's record of 166, I believe, games with the national team. Yeah. And after he missed it, he was out there, I was kind of seeing what he was going to do. He's out there congratulating some players. He's out there saying, hey, we did it. And it happens.
Yeah. And like, here's the thing. It's like, it's not entirely his fault. If Mexico defended set pieces better, he wouldn't have needed to do that. If Xhaka didn't give away the ball, allowing the U.S. to have a corner to get the equalizer in the second half, he wouldn't need to do that. Like, if there was no
penalty for that, but like it wasn't like it was his fault and the goal went in.
I'm just thinking if he didn't,
everyone's saying
fumble
that,
the ball,
part of the second goal, and then I'm like, okay, so he gave it up, right? And then there's a corner kick, and then that set pieces are a problem again.
Yeah, they are. They're 100% a problem. Yeah.
It sucks that that's how the U.S. scoring. But remember, a long time ago, the U.S. is always really, really, really strong on set pieces, and that's how they can beat Mexico.
They're just they're like a foot taller than all of us, so they're just like getting those headers above us.
Yeah. I actually thought, let's talk about the substitutes. Henry Martin. I don't hate him. I don't love him, but and as much as people hate on Pulido, I think this could have been like Pulido's game. I thought.
Yeah.
Coming in. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think, the issue is just, the...
Trademark wrinkle.
Hey, he didn't do that in the shootout.
No, he didn't.
I was actually a little... I was like slightly bummed out. I was like, all right, he's going to do... But Pulido's going to do the little jump in the shootout against Costa Rica, but he didn't do that. But yeah, no, I think it's tough for Tata right now because
what does Tata need to do?
I don't know. It's tough because without Raul Jimenez, you ask yourself, do you go with a true striker like Henry Martin, like Alan Pulido, or do you stick with someone like Chucky Lozano as a false nine? And it's not that Chucky, and I think we've discussed this, it's not that Chucky is bad as a false nine. I thought he had a good game. He ended up having an assist. He almost ended up helping create the what could have been the second goal for Mexico in the first half. The issue is that Chucky is much better as a winger than if you were to play him as a false nine. So it's tough for Tata. We'll see if the rumors are true that Rogelio Funes Mori is going to get all his paperwork in order and be an option for Mexico and could potentially be Mexico's number 9 during the Gold Cup. Because I think if Rogelio Funes Mori is eligible and available, then I think that solves a significant amount of issues. But if you don't have
Oh,
Rogelio Funes Mori, then I don't know.
Chicharito.
Yeah, I mean, well,
All
that's
right.
complicated. Yeah.
Let's talk about. We said you are Tata Martino. What is the first thing you do after this loss? So you guys on the chat right now, go ahead. Everybody, stop talking about Chivas and what are you guys talking about right now? It's Chivas Norte comes on and it just takes over the chat. There you go. If you're Tata right now, what's the first thing you do? And on Twitter, people said tell Marquez to lace up.
Marquez is number 9.
Yeah, Marcos. Seriously though, I wouldn't do anything drastic. I don't think that would have been our quinto partido lineup, and it said a lot. Yeah, Marquez. Dial 1-800 Chicharito. CHIR. Yeah, 1-800 Chicharito. Seriously, if we're gonna have 3 World Cup qualifyings at window, you can't have Raul playing all 3 games. We need another 9. I'm done with all this false 9 stuff. Right. All right.
Yeah.
Somebody's saying that Cordova could be a crazy number 9. Okay.
Yeah,
What else? Gallardo, Chaka, and Antuna need to be evaluated as automatic starters here going forward. There are much more viable options, Lainez, Arteaga, etc. First thing to write, Lainez and Pen instead of Antuna on all future lineup cards. All right. You watch the Olympics because you need to use some of these guys in the near future. Don't change too much. Luis Rodriguez says, talk Carlos Vela and bring Funes Mori. Carlos Vela. Come on, guys. Ask how Jimenez is progressing with his rehab. True. Bianca, our friend Bianca says, rewatch the entire game to see where they went wrong and not start Antuna. Just some fine-tuning to be done, but this game showed us what we need to continue to work on. El profe González dijo, Chaca, tenemos que hablar. Get rid of Chaca. Thoughts on Tata's comment, thinking Lozano is 9 alongside Pulido and Martin. Yeah, I think it kind of worked. If Chucky scored that goal, he had
the one-on-one. Yeah.
Did the one-on-one with, but a completely different game. That's what I'm saying. There are these situations where like sometimes they go in, sometimes they not. It can be a completely different game, but that's football, right? And then El Canaco said resign because the likelihood of him getting fired after Copa Oro is quite high anyway. Why waste any more time on this project? Life's too short, man. Jeez. Enjoy retirement.
Wow. Although I mean, even though he got a red, I did enjoy Tata like leaning in, watching VAR with the ref.
He was so coy about it. Hey guys, what are you watching? Let's check it out. Right. All right. What did you guys say? Just need a forward. So that conversation, right? So everyone's talking about Funes Mori. I think we definitely need a player like Funes Mori, especially with Raul Jimenez. First, he's got to get better, and hopefully he does. His health's very important. Then he's got to get match ready. Then national team. So it's going to be a while before we depend on Raul Jimenez, even if everything goes right. Right?
Yeah.
Qualifiers if we're lucky. Right? And that's I hate to say it, that's if he comes back. So I think Raul Jimenez, if that's our answer, we got to start thinking somebody else. So Funes Mori, right? Yeah. Listening to people that know about this, our friend Martin Palacio, who especially when it comes to things related to El Tri, especially when naturalizados, he's always saying that Funes Mori is not going to be ready for the Gold Cup, maybe qualifiers. So Martin's usually really he knows his stuff when it comes to naturalizados and all that. Maybe he is great. So take those 2 guys. We have Henry, we have Pulido. Then we're going to be thin, like somebody said on the comments, right? Because there's going to be people that are going to the Olympics. So everything points to the best goal, number 9 that we've had, in the selección, someone that can score the goals, someone that is scoring goals.
A proven goal scorer.
Like, I get it. People keep saying about Chicharito, he's not there, but I think Tata said it officially that he doesn't write anybody off in the national team.
Exactly. Yeah, he hasn't rolled him out yet. So obviously it's all a lot of obviously there's a lot of he said, she said, a lot of like they said this, they said that. There's a lot of reports and rumors about some off the field issues that Chicharito has with El Tri. I think that needs to be resolved before he potentially gets back. We also recognize
he comes back.
Yeah, also we need to recognize that like even though he wasn't a part of this roster, I think that was still just waiting. If he does want him back, was waiting just a little bit longer to see what form he had with the Galaxy before calling him up. And I think now yeah, I think with the form that he's had so far this season with the Galaxy, I think that he's deserving of a call up to All-3, deserving to come back. So hopefully, if everything is resolved off the field, and we've seen that he can thrive with the Galaxy, I think hopefully he gets the opportunity. But if not Chicharito, then I don't know. I guess it's still up in the air if it's Polido, if it's Martin, or take a younger option who isn't going to go to the Olympics. You know, if let's say Santi Munoz doesn't go to the Olympics. Let's say
Christian
what?
Jimenez?
Yeah, no, this is yeah,
Yeah,
like
so
something.
I mean, you start looking at the nines, like yeah, we're a little thin because of the Olympics, but at the qualifiers, I think the qualifiers, there are not going to be any more tournaments. We're only going to focus on the qualifiers. There's a lot of options there. If Fujimori is there, if Raul Jimenez is there, JJ Macias.
Yeah, or even Alexis Vega. I think Alexis Vega as a striker
Vega,
is actually,
we do have options. It's just that we're really thin because of the Olympics. We're trying to do two different, and the priority is the Olympics. I still think we should win the Gold Cup, though.
Yeah, no, agreed. And I think that's what makes it difficult, because if there was no Olympics,
bring back
yeah, that's the ip. Like, if there was no Olympics, we'd be like, bring in Macias, bring in Alexis Vega. Yeah, but Santi Jimenez. I think there are options there for Mexico, but it's just but yeah, like, Chaquito, his little his son, but
Santi Jimenez. No, so again, there's options up top. We'll see what happens
in qualifying, but we'll see what happens.
In qualifying, Gold Cup is, guys, we're gonna struggle in the Gold Cup. It happens every Gold Cup, no matter what. Sometimes we don't even make it to the final. There hasn't been a time where we had our, we'll go back to the A squad, but our starters, I think Osorio lost one, obviously Chepo del Torre lost one. We've, in the cycle, but this is the first time that the team that Mexico's had in a World Cup cycle, the starters to be, their best team in the Gold Cup. Regardless, we do have the Olympics there, but we should still field a pretty good team in order for it to win the Gold Cup. And if Tata wins the Gold Cup, I think it's the first manager that has won 2 Gold Cups, right? Because usually that doesn't necessarily happen.
And also, really quick, like, there's no reason why someone like Martin and also Pulido, that there's no reason for them that they can't thrive in a Gold Cup. With the opposition that they're going up against, like, they should be able to go up against other CONCACAF like opponents and thrive, against those teams. So I think as much as I want, Chicharito to come back, as much as I want Jimenez to be healthy, or for Funes Mori to be potentially ready, there's no reason why, Martin can't put a couple goals against a Jamaica, against a Honduras, or the same thing with a Polido, so I think that it might take a little bit of time for them to kind of readjust themselves into a key role for All-3, but like I said, there's no reason why they shouldn't be thriving against CONCACAF opponents.
Here we go. Christian Camargo says, can't win them all. Honestly, the U.S. was due for a win.
Yeah,
true. Yeah. Again, if you're going to pick out all the games that we're going to play the U.S., this is the game that you want the U.S. to win.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
Yeah,
because let's say
not a World Cup qualifier, not a World Cup qualifier, not a Gold Cup,
not
final.
A Gold Cup.
Yeah.
This is it. Give them this win. Okay, let's start over. Let's see what happens. Like I said, Tata's got some work to do. What are we going to do about those set pieces? What are we going to do in the middle? Because Charles Rodriguez, who else is there, right? Again, yeah, but again, we can't use it for the Gold Cup because the Olympics.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I guess we'll see.
It's going to be exciting. We're going to struggle in the in the Gold Cup. We'll go to PKs probably in those elimination rounds, and then we'll make it to the final, and then we'll win the final. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I got you guys.
Well, hopefully, man. Fingers crossed, man. Hopefully. Because that would be because people say, because I didn't want to use, and I'm glad I haven't been seeing it, because I don't want to use the word like fracaso, about yesterday's game, and I feel like I'm glad. I don't usually, like, the Mexican soccer media, they're very quick to use that word when it comes to L3. I'm glad I didn't see that, but for me, what a fracaso would be is to not win yesterday and to not win the Gold Cup. I think you got to win the Gold Cup, or you have to win the Nations League.
For me, it's kind of funny, right? No, I wouldn't say it was a fracaso, but you would have told me that in the Nations Leagues we did not win a single game.
Yeah,
it's true. We went to penalty kicks with Costa Rica, so we didn't win that game, and we didn't beat the U.S. in regular time. So the Nations League, we're 0. We have not won a game. Sure, we won against Costa Rica in penalty kicks, but now it's a crazy tournament because it goes straight to penalty kicks, and then the other one. I mean, we were hoping to go to PK again, and that would have been exciting. PKs against the U.S. Yeah. I think the last time we were in PKs of the U.S., if somebody corrects me, if I think it was in the Copa America. I think we lost to them in like 93 or something like that. Somebody check it. Somebody check it. And get, I'll send them a pulparindo. I think that's the last time we played. We've played the U.S. in PKs, and I think we lost in PKs against them.
Really? Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah.
Jose Ramon used the F word immediately. Of course he did.
Of course, yeah.
Then. The fracaso. The fracaso.
But yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, so what's next? So what's next for Mexico? Mexico plays. Look, I know everyone talks about these Molero games. Everyone, you're spending way too much time. We need these games before we get to the Gold Cup. I'm sorry.
We need to work on our defense.
We need to figure out what's
starting up top.
Honduras. I thought they have good players. I want to see El Choco Lozano, right?
Wait, were you the who? Someone tweeted out
it's Choco Lozano.
But there's someone who tweeted out it's like mom, like I want Chucky Lozano. It's like, mom, we have Chucky Lozano at home, and it was like Chucky Lozano at home, and it was like Choco Lozano.
We play against Honduras, and then we play Panama. Those are two teams that we're going to be facing them in the Gold Cup. And then we play Nigeria. I get it. Many people, it's all about money. It's all that. But we're going to need these games, right?
Yeah.
And then there's all these other games that I don't even have my mind to with the Olympics, right, that are there. We have a couple of women's games that are coming up against the U.S. Like in the next month, there is lots and lots of football happening.
We're gonna forget about this Nations League championship real quick. There's just because the amount of stuff that's coming up for L3 with the Olympics, with these friendlies, with the Gold Cup, and with World Cup qualify, it's gonna come by real quick.
The last fracaso was when Mex lost to US in the Estadio Azteca. No,
we've had some fracasos since then.
Last fracaso since then. No, that was no. I think the last fracaso was I guess maybe yeah. Okay, I can give you that. I'm trying to think of what's the last fracaso.
I mean, immediately what comes.
We didn't get to the Gold Cup with Osorio, but that was
the Copa America lost to Chile in the.
But was it a fracaso because we didn't beat Chile? That was a really good Chile.
No, but but just the.
There's a horrible loss. Yes, the embarrassing 7-0. I get it, but was it a fracaso? Nah, I don't know. That's a good one. What's the last time that Mexico's fracaso? The Olympics with Hugo? That was a huge fracaso. I don't know. Chivas del Norte says they weren't born yet. And since 1993, I think that was it. So we'll see. All right. 2002 was a real fracaso against the USA. Of course.
That's true.
They'll be talking about that forever. Forever. Does the Olympic team have another friendly? Yes, they have a lot.
They played against Romania over the weekend.
I didn't get to watch it. I was in a flight.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch it. I know they won 1-0, and then they should have another one coming up, and I assume they're gonna have at least a couple more. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, again, Mexico is U.S. We're gonna see a lot of these games this year, especially 2 more at least, hopefully in the Gold Cup final. Or if somebody doesn't win their group and goes to the other side, because Mexico and U.S. play, they line up to the final. Who knows? We'll see.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was a friendly against them later on this year too, right? I wouldn't be surprised, at all. Yeah.
There is a friendly scheduled in the U.S. I believe in September. So that's the last friendly of the year. So we'll see. Again, we're starting to look at qualifiers. Those are games that we're going to see wherever they're going to take us. And talking to some of the press from the U.S. in the press box, because there wasn't that many Mexican press, by the way, in the Nations League. Asked them about where do you think that the U.S. is going to take Mexico, and Columbus is what's rumored to be one more time. I think they have a new stadium now, and that's where they're going to try to bring the U.S. and Mexico game. That's going to be in I think November. So we'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, that'll be. Yeah, at least hopefully we'll get to play them at least once more. And now, for whatever reason, Wiso is gone, so I guess now I have to continue carrying the pod. But yeah, no, it was an interesting game.
I'm here. Sorry about that.
Oh man, I was like, I was like, dang, like Wiso just left me here. I have to
I'm
carry
out.
this
I'm
thing.
out. Sorry guys. Olympic team will play Saudi Arabia tomorrow. So there you go.
Boom. There you go.
All right. All right, guys. Well, we have 10 more minutes left. What questions do you have specifically? Lots of you in the chat. I want to thank you all for staying in.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
Especially during these games. I think we're gonna have these live chats going on while we do our show. We appreciate all the love and what questions do you have.
It's very healthy. It's good to vent. It's good to, as opposed to holding in all this like frustration about L3. It's very meditative to kind of like
but
think
at the
about what
same
happened.
time, I don't think you new L3 fans know what a struggle is against. Like you, since 2011, it's been pretty easy being a Mexico fans against the US. Like, it has. So for all of you Gen Zs, right? I mean, for all us old millennials, between 2000 and 2010, even though we still, I think, had an edge over the US, like those were hard losses. So all right.
Yeah, when you look at some of the like the Mexico US like rival like the games, like I was like, dang, like it really turned in the like late 90s and like in like the early 2000s.
Early 2000 was that rivalry. There's just so much going on because of the rivalry. And oh man, it was US fans were after that 2002 World Cup win. Oh my gosh, there was no internet. Like,
thank goodness,
there was no social media. I'm sorry, there was internet, right? But
there's no internet.
No social media, right? But we were in the forums back in the day, and oh my gosh, there were just the things people would say that say they were World Cup champions. All right, we said the last 10 minutes at least we would answer your questions. So, who should start? We got from Holo. Who should start moving forward at right? Tecatito or Linus?
I think in an ideal situation, you would have a true number 9, and then you would have Chucky on the left, and then Tecatito on the right.
Yeah.
And then you have Linus as like the first sub. But if you have Chucky as a false 9, then you have Chucky right there, Tecatito on the left, Linus on the right. I think that's
Yep. Hey, who's the number 10?
Who's the number 10 on the team? Like literally number. It was Orbelin.
Yeah.
Was Orbelin who's
was Orbelin?
Yeah.
I think Linus should take the 10 already.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think we have a 10. I think Linus should take the 10. Look at the freedom that Tata Martino gave him in the game yesterday.
He does like cut inside and kind of seems like a 10 sometimes when he.
All right. Continuing. Do you think the World Cup will be full capacity? Yes.
Okay. I have no idea.
Okay. I don't want to say. I hope so. I mean, by that time, those tickets are really expensive. I'm pretty sure.
I have no idea. Yeah.
All right. We'll get opinion on El Mudo from Santos, Cesar.
Yeah. No. I mean, he's what I've been very impressed by him. I think that we saw what he could do up top for them, especially when it looked like everybody was going to be paying a little bit more attention to Santi Munoz, and then you have someone like Aguirre stepping up in the front line, and he was someone who, I mean, it's not surprising. He killed it at the 2016 2 Alone tournament. He looked like he was being the next big striker for L3. Things didn't really pan out, and now I feel like it's weird to say that he's found like a renaissance in his career when he's still super young. But I know, I think he's a really interesting option for Mexico and for Santos going forward.
Who will take the goalkeeper position? Who's gonna be the portero after 2022?
Ochoa until 2065. Ochoa until
20...
that's a good question. Yeah.
All right, I'm just taking it out. Ochoa can't play anymore after 22. I don't know. Something happens, or wait, he's just done. I don't know. All right, I don't want to knock on wood here, but he can't play anymore. Some weird FIFA rule that he played way too many games. Who takes the reins? Because normally Talavera, Chuy Corona, like, all right, we got to get them out. But you got Jurado, Acevedo. Who do you? You're Tata. Who
if I'm Tata, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that Malagon or Acevedo continue to move up and continue to like build their confidence. It looks like Malagon's probably. It looks like he was the go-to starter for the Olympic side. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's the starter for the Olympics. So whoever has a very strong performance for all 3 in the Olympics in net, hopefully he'll be the one who takes over Ochoa. But I think as of now, Ochoa is going to be, if Mexico qualifies for 2022 World Cup, Ochoa is going to be starting.
I think it's a continuous starter just to see what happens. Yeah. And so we start to see the hit. Once his reflexes are gone, okay, bye-bye, Ochoa.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. How do you feel about the hate towards Andres Guardado? I thought it was extreme reaction from people on Twitter. I didn't see that many people hate on Andres Guardado. you miss it. I mean, all players have missed.
Maybe we all muted them.
Maybe
Like, I don't know.
maybe we have. Maybe they're in our muted or our blocked. But I didn't see that much. Like, oh, we knew it. It happens. I mean, better to happen now. Raul Jimenez missed a PK against Costa Rica 2 years ago, right? I mean, everybody misses a PK. Yes, even Cuauhtemoc Blanco missed PKs. It happens. It sucked that it had to happen against the U.S. But Guardado, Principito, I think he's still our captain. So we'll see what happens.
I think the good thing about it sounds weird saying the good thing about him missing, but the good thing that it was him who missed was I feel like he has enough experience.
Yeah,
and he's kind of at an age where it's not going to impact him. He's not going to be like a young player it's going to devastate him. Like I think Guardado's the kind of player who
imagine Linus goes up there and misses it. Imagine Antuna. That could derail the career. Like, let's say, Hector Herrera goes up there and misses it or something. Like, I feel like Guardado's probably the only player that can miss this PK against the U.S. so crucial that nothing's going to happen to his career. I don't think anyone's anything less. Now, another PK comes up. Guardado takes it. It is a little bit nerve-wracking. But, he's going to come in. All right. Ray said getting over the 2-0 was hard. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
A good rivalry has to go back and forth.
Yeah, true, and it's good for Mexico. It's good for Mexico. It'll be a wake-up call.
Yeah. Continuing with your questions, we have a few more minutes left, so please put them on here. Let's say, any chance of convincing Luca Romero to join El Tri? I don't know.
I have no idea. I mean, I don't know. It's just it's always like a bunch of rumors. It's just like that, like, oh, they're in talks with his family. They're maybe this kid might be joining Mexico instead of like Argentina or Spain or whatever. I forget. Yeah. I think he's eligible for Argentina and Spain too, right? I forget. Yeah. But I don't know. I think it's a long shot. And also with someone like him too, like, I know it's not like he's someone who's already developed into like, I don't know, like in their like early 20s as a consistent go-to starter. I don't know. I think that we sometimes get a little ahead of ourselves in some of these young talents.
Yeah. Well, the Flores kid in Arsenal. I mean, that's first we got to convince to play for Mexico because England. His sister plays for Mexico. His dad looks like he's teasing us with Mexico. So hopefully we'll do that. All right, our friends Chivas del Norte. Who is this? Is this Varo or Rigo? This looks like a Varo question. Maybe it's Rigo. When you're all releasing some Mexican Soccer Show NFTs.
I'm announcing now we're selling some. You can get it for $1.3 million, and by buying it, you get a 1% stake in the Mexican Soccer Show.
That was hilarious. That was hilarious. Who will play Gold Cup and Olympics goalkeeper? Did they say Ochoa is going to the Olympics?
Yeah, Gibran Araige over at
That's a really good question. RC286.
Yeah, Gibran Araige over at Through the Ene is definitely. He said it numerous times.
Ochoa's going.
Ochoa's going to the Olympics. So I think Talavera is probably going to be at the Gold Cup.
Chuy Corona. I would go Chuy.
Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, like
Tala already won 2011.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no. So I mean, we'll see.
Has Corona ever won a Gold Cup? That's the question. I don't think he has.
I don't know.
No, I don't think he has.
They're too
he won the Olympics, but Ochoa Chuy he wins Cruz Azul finally wins, and if Ochoa is going to go to the Olympics, I'd rather have him than Talavera, but we'll see. Yeah, another question from Hello. Once Herrera and Guardado are gone, who will take over at mid? What option will be available? Charlie has been disappointing. That's what we've been saying. Charlie has been disappointing.
I think next. No, I think if you look at the younger options, I think like Sebastian Cordova, I think would be the one who steps in the midfield, and then after that, you hope that it would be Charlie Rodriguez, but if it's not, I don't know. I guess it's a little bit tougher. That maybe immediately you would go with like you said, like a Jonathan Dos Santos. Maybe you could have someone like a Luis Romo too, who's been looking pretty good. I mean, Liga MX said he was the best player this season. So I think in theory it would be Cordova and maybe Luis Romo right now based off Romo's form. But you do hope that maybe Charlie Rodriguez finds a little more consistency and I guess a starting spot down the line.
There we go. All right, very specific questions. Will FC Juarez, Tuca Ferretti, and El Paso's Locomotive, FC's Mark Laurie become buddies by the end of the year?
I hope so.
Yeah, I guess ask us anything. Sure. Tuca Ferretti's friends with everybody.
Shout out to Nicholas. He does some great stuff over at USL, and I think that's why he's asking about El Paso Locomotive, and also with Juarez and they have that connection there with El Paso Locomotive. I think some of the ownership is the same right there, which is why you'll see players being like loaned over.
I've seen Eric Ronaldo say that he would like to coach in Mexico. You think he will see an American coach?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. Would bringing an American coach to coach in Liga MX? Does he know Spanish? I mean, it's.
Hey, maybe one of the. I mean, if there was a team who would be open to that, it would probably be Xolos. Like they would definitely be open to something like that.
Yeah. It's just be hard. I mean, I'm not a foreign coach. Has there been a foreign coach that did not speak the language? Why am I not thinking of any? I'm sure there's. I'm
sure there has been. I don't know why I got to think about this.
It's a question for you guys. Has there been a foreign coach?
I'm sure there's going to be an obvious one. We're like, oh yeah, it was that guy, but like I don't know.
All right, we'll see. Trophies to the midfield. Chivas and Norte has said. Yeah. We'll see. All right. Any more questions? We're about to end. We'll answer about a few more, but Cesar. All right. Well, the U.S. give it to them. They won. Yeah. We'll see what the rivalry says.
Gotta give him credit, but yeah.
Yeah. No, Sven Goran did not know Spanish, but he wasn't a Liga MX coach. So yeah. Oh, Sven.
He also did not like coaching El Tadir. I read his book. Not that good of a book, but he complained about having. He said he had like 17, 18 different bosses. He's like because of all the Liga MX owners, and he said he did not enjoy that.
Ben Ships, however you spelled, didn't speak Spanish.
Oh, right? Did he? Yeah,
he did.
I think he did speak Spanish. Yeah, I remember looking at some interview. Yeah,
I think he did. He did speak Spanish. Yeah. No, he did speak Spanish. All right. I want to thank all of you guys. Wow, over 60 comments, right? 30 of you guys watching right now. We'll continue to do these live shows. It's all about you fans. Thanks again, right? If we didn't answer any questions, tweet. We'll try to answer on Twitter. But Cesar, what do you expect going forward? I mean, it's like win everything. But right. Yeah, like win everything. But at the same time, let's be realistic. We're gonna struggle in the Gold Cup a little bit. As long as we can win. If we don't win, my only concern is how fast the psychology of players, how fast the media turns on Tata. How also Tata, if he's not going to take it, he's not comfortable, he's out. Like, let's hope everything's okay and we continue to have Tata into the World Cup.
I think the good thing is that the odds are likely that Mexico will do well in the Gold Cup, that they'll win the Gold Cup, and that they'll have a good World Cup qualifying and qualify for the World Cup. I think the odds are likely that's going to happen. I think the odds are likely that Tata will be able to do that. I'm a big fan of Tata as a head coach, so I'm definitely trusting, I guess you could say, trusting the process right now with him. I think it complicates things to not have Raul Jimenez. And as a good friend, Naib Moran pointed out on Twitter that not having Raul Jimenez it really impacts the national team, and it's quite obvious how much that's impacted the national team. But that said, I think Mexico is going to do fine. They're going to win the Gold Cup, and I think that they'll qualify for the World Cup. And I don't know about the Olympics though, because I don't know much about the other teams that have qualified. But I have faith for the senior side.
We'll see what happens. Oh, I got to show you guys what I got. I don't think anybody else has one of these. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah. Hey, hopefully no one who's working for CONCACAF is listening to us. But why are the scarves you're like, oh, cool scarf? You're like, dang, this is like made of paper. They're always like super thin.
Nice. That was a good one. Made of papers. No, this one's actually nice. I like it. Oh, but I love. Okay. So I got the scarf and whatever, and then I look at the back of it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, the tagline, "The dream is now." I was like, oh man, this is fun. So all right, cool.
So you got like 5 scarves for the full Mexican.
So no, like if you look at it,
just like grabbed all of them. Yeah.
I got the Copa Centenario scarf, right? I got the Gold Cup scarf.
Yeah.
And then I have the Nations League. I have the 3 meaningless tournaments. I'm kidding.
Definitely hope no one from CONCACAF listening now.
Staff, I love going to games. I'm just joking.
So you are not approved for the Gold Cup.
Not approved for the Gold Cup anymore. No. But it was cool. Like you get these little swags that we got there.
Nice.
So yeah, the other scarf is that one right there. The Somos Locales. I thought that was pretty cool. Wait, no, Solos Jamás. I thought it was a pretty cool
Yeah,
spot. So
dude,
we'll
that's good. Yeah, cool.
all right, guys. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Giovanna, Alex, Toon Squad, Chivas del Norte, our friends. Really quick, big plug for them. If you're a Chivas fan, great podcast, Chivas del Norte. Also, the Eagle Eye podcast if you're an America fan. Leon has a podcast. Continue to help each other. If
The Cruz Azul, they have a podcast out there too.
the Paradero Boys, do they have a podcast, right?
I don't know. I think they kind of stopped. And then also
Juarez,
Rayados
Monterrey,
90.
Rayados 90. If your team doesn't have a podcast, make one up. Start it.
Yeah.
Let us know. We'll retweet it. We want more people talking about Liga MX, El Trieng. We all help each other out. So anyway, we do this all for you all. And yeah, we'll Nicholas Murs, the 3 meaningless tournaments. Just don't repeat it. Just don't repeat it. Alex Vadillo, always a pleasure. It's an awesome show. He says, have a good night. Have a good night to all of you. And we'll see you another edition of the Mexican Soccer Show. Once again, thanks a lot for the production with Amy, saying hello to Tom Marshall, who's he's in vacations, and Adriana, who's working really, really hard to do the N. Our friends Carlos Justis, I think he's ready to go to the Olympics soon. Hopefully we can get him before the show. And many, many other guests that we come on the Mexican Soccer Show, guys. So yeah, we'll see. Oh wait, Liga MX and Podcast of the Year. That's right.
That's right.
They're waiting for their trophy. I don't think they were getting a trophy. It was an award.
Were we giving it? You got the digital like little screenshot. It's just like, hey, congratulations.
Yeah. Congratulations. All right, amigos. Nos vemos. Hasta la próxima. Nos vemos.